Good evening, everybody. Welcome to join our European Study Talk tonight. As we all know, Germany is one of the most popular countries for international students, especially for students with science and engineering backgrounds. You must be familiar, or you must at least heard one of our featured school tonight, University of Stuttgart. It's one of the member of Alliance of German University of Technology. And tonight we have Dr. Wolfgang Hopken from the International Office of University of Stuttgart. And let's welcome him and see what are those program taught in English for international students. Wolfgang?
Thank you so much. Very glad to be back, although only virtually. It's the second time, last year as well. But our university is very much interested in students from Taiwan. And we have come for the last years, every year, to the European Education Fair. And in fact, I came myself. So I hope to be back next year. And perhaps some of you will have follow-up interest and questions about the University of Stuttgart. See it right behind me here, at least some of it. I will be glad to answer your questions after my presentation, and Jade, you will help me in doing that by reading out the questions, because I may not see them on my screen. So thank you already also for having organized with your team this event. It is always great to see you. Now, first, the presentation. Let me say that straight in advance that on the bachelor level, we offer programs in German language. So if you do some German, that could help as well. But for the master level, it looks much better already. And for that, we do have programs in English language. I would now like to share my presentation, and here we are. So University of Stuttgart, one of our two campuses, and this is the building for information science. Once again, my name is Wolfgang, and I'm very happy to meet all of you today. Stuttgart is located in the southwest of Germany. It is a state capital of Germany. Has 16 states, and we are one of them. The state is called Baden-Württemberg, but the capital is Stuttgart, and we are located in the city center with one campus where I'm now, and then there's a second campus on the way to the airport, which is on public transport about 10 to 12 minutes away. The name itself, Stuttgart, relates to the German word Stute, which means mare. Mare is the female horse. And since we are located in a valley, in the 10th century, this region, this place, I should rather call it, was actually used for by the king for the royal mares. And so the garden of mares, the area of mares, that then relates to Stuttgart. And that's what our name is. There's a long tradition of the city, as you just saw, 10th century. I guess in Asia, traditions reach back much, much longer. But we do have a lot of interesting sightseeing possibilities around. There are old castles in the city and in the area of the kings of Württemberg. We have Europe's biggest zoo and botanical garden. It's quite a treasure. And especially around this time of the year with the lights up in the trees, the light show that we now have before Christmas is quite amazing. For those who like the arts, the opera is always quite a treat, and also the ballet. Repeatedly, our opera won the title Best Opera of the Year in the German-speaking countries between Austria, Switzerland, and Germany. And our legendary ballet was founded by John Cranko, who is quite a name in that area. But coming to the here and now, I should also say that we are located in a high-tech and innovating region. Several companies that you know, like Bosch, Daimler, Porsche, IBM, have their head offices in Stuttgart, and also the manufacturing sites of global players are in the city or around the city. So it is not surprising that within our state, the region of Stuttgart is one with a very strong innovation index, and investment in research and development in Europe ranks very, very high. Part of the reason is that there are good academic institutions nearby. One of them is the University of Stuttgart, founded in 1829 as a vocational school by the king at the time, and then slowly over the years and decades rather developed first to a technical university in 1890. In Germany, many technical universities were founded then or got the title. That was about the time of industrialization, when it really took off. And at the very end of this would be 1967, when the name University of Stuttgart was finally given to us. Today, we have about 24,000 students, and about 20% of them are foreign students. This is one of the highest numbers of foreign students at a German university of this size. So you will meet many international students here, and this is picture is from the second campus that we have, which is the bigger one, where the technical subjects are located. And it's really an international campus. When I go there and walk around, I often hear English speaking, but also other languages, students who are in the area. We have 10 faculties. We do not have agriculture. We do not have medicine. We do not have law, but all the others you can basically find in our 150 study programs or more. We cooperate, as indicated earlier already, with a large number of non-university institutions from the local factories, among others as well. We have 2 clusters of excellence. This is in simulation technology, and INCDC stands for architecture. As mentioned by Yadi already, we are a member of the TU9 Alliance. This is an alliance of the big 9 technical universities in Germany. And we are at the heart of one of Europe's strongest economic regions. Mentioning our international profile, students come from all over the world, from more than 100 countries. Many are from Asian countries, about 1,200 from China. And they do study in the English-speaking master programs that we have, but they also come with German knowledge or knowledge of the German language so that they can study in other areas as well. The University of Stuttgart has a very strong technical orientation. Engineering dominates. Natural sciences are very high. But we also have social sciences and humanities. That's, for instance, the area I work in. And all of these, engineering, natural, social sciences, and humanities, whenever possible, try to build an interdisciplinary network. This is very important for our university and its direction. And our vision, therefore, is to offer intelligent systems for a sustainable society. The means to do that is the so-called Stuttgart way. And that means that we bring together complementary disciplines that work together and try to integrate them. So we try to address topics, research topics that we are facing in Stuttgart and beyond by integrating research, teaching, and also the various disciplines. And we call that the Stuttgart way. We are very strong in these areas, which we call our profile areas: architecture, digital humanities, that is in particular in linguistics, production technologies for engineering, and simulation science, of course, for IT as well, and quantum science for physics. In the future, we want to build up autonomous systems and biomedical systems as emerging fields. How are we recognized? First, by the Shanghai ranking in the world, the overall ranking, mechanical engineering, first in Germany and number 44 worldwide. In civil engineering, number 1 in Germany and number 46 worldwide. In automation and control, number 3 in Germany and among the first 150 in the world. And if we look at German universities and the ranking within Germany, then these subjects stand out. Agriculture, mechanical and manufacturing engineering, chemical engineering, civil and structural engineering, and electrical and electronic engineering. So the word engineering is pretty dominant. Let us look at some slides that show how research is conducted in what areas. Here we have a combination with the University of Stuttgart and the University of Tübingen. Together, they form the Cyber Valley, as we call it. It is Europe's biggest research collaboration in AI. But other partners are also the MPI for Intelligent Systems, the state that we are in, Baden-Württemberg, the Fraunhofer Society, which puts a strong emphasis on the application of research in production lines. We have several companies that support the Cyber Valley and also foundations. You already see that we try to reach out to as many partners as possible, to strong partners, and we're not afraid of that at all. By contrast, we believe that we only can become stronger. And these days and times, when the questions and the topics are that important, it is impossible that one institution can address them all on its own. In 2027, Stuttgart will host the world's International Architecture Exhibition, IBA. And already we see in the city some projects emerging and many experiments as well. Of course, our School of Architecture will be involved. And here is one building that we opened in October. And it is a test, it is a model, it is a showcase, but it is the first adaptive demonstrator high-rise building in the world. And adaptive means that the building is very much possible because of intelligent systems to adjust to, say, how strong the wind is, and to then make the material a little thicker, a little stronger when necessary, and to sort of, make it according to the circumstances. This is very important if you want in the future, if we want to build more sustainable buildings that don't use up so many resources as in the past. After all, in the world, the construction industry is responsible for 40% of the CO2 emission. So that is a lot, and therefore new materials are needed, intelligent systems are needed for this particular area as well. On one of our campuses, we try to work on the mobility of the future. This, of course, is not one of our campuses, but the mobility of the future will have to change, we think. And therefore, again, an interdisciplinary approach is very, very much in need. And on our bigger campus, we try to implement new ways, and therefore innovation campus, as it is called. Quantum technology is these days actually the basis for multiple technologies. And we are very proud to have a new and center for quantum technology also opened in October that is well renowned, especially because of the scientists who we could attract to work there. And we have a very stable cooperation with Stanford University in this field, but also many, many others. And we really hope that a future Nobel Prize will go to that area, to someone from that team, because of the importance of quantum technology and the outstanding quality of the researchers, which was also shown in the visual computing. Visualization becomes more and more important. It will be also important at student expos, I guess, in the future. So one day we'll be at the booth and perhaps hand you one of those particular glasses and say, well, what about, checking the campus out for yourself, or have a conversation, or follow the presentation by wearing particular devices, and that will give you a first-hand experience, really, of the university. As far as car industry is important, Stuttgart is a big, is a city with many, many car producers. Our arena, our active research environment for the next generation of automobiles becomes relevant here, because it brings together university and non-university researchers. That is, from the big companies that are in that area working here, they come to the university, to this particular place and hall that you see, and work together to develop the processes. And that is in production line, but also beyond. And they meet our researchers there, so together they can work and don't have to do this on the computer only, but or have to visit, or our researchers have to visit the companies. So they have one space where they can work and find out what it will be like in 2036 or before, when it comes to the production of cars. We have chosen the year 2036 because that will be the year when the car will celebrate its 150th anniversary, invented in 1886 then. So since then, things have been literally moving. No movement without computers these days, and we have a supercomputer. It is one of the most powerful ones in Europe. In Germany, Munich, Aachen, and Stuttgart are the three places where these supercomputers are very, very strong. And this one is the fastest general purpose machine for scientific and industrial computing in Europe. This is at the moment, next year it may be Munich or another one, but at the moment it is fast with a performance of 26 petaflops. The university works also in the field of aerospace, and we have a stratospheric observatory that is built in a short version of a 747 and based in California, actually, in cooperation with NASA. This plane flies mostly on the Pacific between California and also Australia, and tries to discover how stars are born. So the solar system is being investigated here. It has in the back of the plane an opening of 4 by 6 meters, where then the observatory can watch and is used, actually, or better, yeah, I should say used to watch what happens in the stratosphere. What happens on the ground can be tested in an in situ remediation and site investigation, where we have a very, very large hall where we can have experiments when it comes to groundwater or contaminated land, and under realistic conditions test the effects. It is very important for a world that increasingly faces problems along that line, and therefore we need solutions for that as well. Talking about solutions it is important to communicate what the university does also to the general public and the civil society. This is done through our International Center for Cultural and Technological Studies. Coming to what you can do against this background and what we offer in our master's programs, and see how that may link to what you want to do. This is a view of the city center of Stuttgart, where I am right now, not far from this city square in the middle, and this castle, the old castle and the new castle, as you see it. And I'm not far in these buildings here. If you go to the very right, there are two taller buildings, 10-floor buildings. I'm in that, in one of those. So that's a view of the city of Stuttgart. I cannot show you the video, as I was told by the organizers that would use too much bandwidth. So I'd rather go on by showing you some of the master programs. Now, the academic year here has basically just started in October and will go on till September. And we have 2 terms. The first one, October to February, and then there's examination time. And then from April to July, again, followed by exam time from August to September. The application deadlines for the international masters varies, but the deadlines are shown on the websites. Here are some of them as that we can show. Air quality control and solid waste and wastewater process engineering, called WASTE, is one of them. Computational linguistics, computational mechanics of materials and structures, computer science, electrical engineering, geomatics engineering, and information technology. And it goes on with infrastructure planning when it comes to urban spaces and questions related. It comes to architecture, integrated urbanism, and sustainable design, a program that works together with a partner university in Egypt, in Cairo. So 1 year in Stuttgart, 1 year in Cairo. And integrative technologies, architectural design research, called ITEC, materials science, physics, water resource engineering, and management. So again, those are taught in English language. What happens? These are all 2-year programs. And we have in the first term, basically some core modules, general ones, seminars, lectures, lab work. Then in the second term, already some focus can be laid on special courses that you would like to take. This is increased in the 3rd term, and in the 4th term, students write their master thesis with an independent handling of problems that in close cooperation with the supervisor is done. So once again, 2 years, the program, and it's a continuous process from the more general to the very specific one, often according to your individual choices. Many programs have that. The deadlines for application differ, but if it is for 2022, it starts sometimes already in December and then goes between January and March for international students. You would need bachelor's degree, CV, a motivational letter, also recommendation letters from university professors, or if you are employed currently, from your employers. Any other certificates that may be relevant for your presentation of yourself. Plus, you will need for the English-speaking master courses a TOEFL result or IELTS, and the tuition is 1,500 euro per term, so that's 3,000 per academic year. Beyond usual lectures, what else happens here? Well, for those of you interested in machines and cars, why not join the students who form their international Formula student races? These are students who actually take off some of their study time to work out both with traditional combustion engine, but also in the green team, so between the electric cars, how to improve the performance of cars. And they run it as their own companies. They run it independently. They have to do the technical part, but also the office part of running a company, which it is at the time. Since 2010, so for the last 10 years, has always been among the top 10 teams in the world. Sometimes we also do, of course, prefer other sources of energy, and wind is one of those. Lots of experiments with that also. We have the Inventors team also being very successful in the races, trying to come up with even more innovative vehicles all the time. For those of you engaged in social work, connecting with refugees may be an option by joining meeting places, language classes, have buddy projects, activities in sports groups, or mentoring. Students here at the university are engaged in all of these. And for those of you interested in the arts, well, you could also join our academic choir or the academic orchestra. Both ensembles have around each 100 members. And every now and then they perform not only in Stuttgart or in Germany, but also abroad. And that really is across the world. And we are currently preparing for next year, hopefully, also next fall, trips to the United States. So let's hope for those in the ensembles and also for the audiences that this will work out. And if you want to listen in to some of the experiences that former students have had, or even also current colleagues, why not check out our podcast, Made in Science? I'm the host of that podcast, and every 2 to 3 weeks, we release a new episode where we meet colleagues and students and alumni from our university and talk about their study times, but also where they are today and where they want to go in the future. Now, your future may be, at least for some time, in Stuttgart. We hope and would like to see you here. But in the meantime, please, we now have time for questions. All I can say is welcome to the University of Stuttgart. Welcome to the question period. Once again, my name is Wolfgang, and you can contact me also via email by this email address, international@uni-stuttgart.de.
Thank you, Wolfgang, for bringing us the beautiful city of Stuttgart and all the program taught the English at the university. Now, let's welcome the questions from our audience. First, let's start with, okay. So here we have a high school student. He or she is currently studying in an international school. I believe, okay, they are adapted the AP system, so it's American system. What would be the qualification for those international students to apply for a bachelor degree?
For a bachelor degree, first of all, you would need German language.
Right.
That's, I don't know if the international school means at this moment that this particular student is also doing German. But as again, bachelor program in Stuttgart, at least, is in German language only. And that means that you would need B2 level, as it's called, or C1 level of German German knowledge, depending. But I guess the teachers at the school will know how to convert that. And but B2 C1, that's the requirement to enroll.
Of course, they could take probably like task stuff or
Yeah, test stuff is
they are in
possibility.
Germany.
Exactly. TestF is a possibility,
Right.
and they need to score 4. I think the score is number 4 for all of the different, whether it's speaking, listening, and writing. So a lot of that goes into that. And TestF is there. Then there is the DSD2, which is the German language diploma. There is also the exam by the Goethe Institute, Goethe Institute. You have one in Taipei, for instance. What we do not accept is the DSH exam. That is the one that we don't accept in Stuttgart. So the DSH, we don't. But the others, test stuff, yes, score 4 in all 4 parts of the test.
I see. But for those, for example, what will be since you just mentioned the probably the qualification for master program, in general, what are the requirement for bachelor program, aside from the like German TAS certificates? What are others requirements?
Well, they would, of course, as a general rule, fulfill those requirements that they also would fulfill in their home country to be admitted to a study. That is a university entrance examinations, and that then applies also in Germany. And depending on citizenship and the country where you gained your university entrance qualification, there are different admission regulations, and for that, students can write to our admissions office. It's
Right.
one word. I mean, in this case, it's one word, admissions office at uni-stuttgart.de. Admissions office at uni-stuttgart.de.
Right. Since a student in international school, they are say they don't need to take the university entrance exam, which is
They
the
would, international school, I think I was once in Taipei in one, and that had a German branch as well. And that if they come up with the German Abitur, as we call it, then that would be fine.
but like in general they can still write to the admission office at a university,
Yeah.
probably provide their own background. They are
That's right.
international school students. They only have,
And
whether they have like any test staff certificate
exactly.
or not, and
Exactly.
see like what are other required documents they need to prepare in order to apply for University of Stuttgart program.
Yeah.
All right. In that case, or on top of that, is there any like preparatory program for in order to enter bachelor program? For example, yeah, like Studienkolleg.
We do. Studienkolleg exists in Heidelberg. That's the closest one to us. Stuttgart does not have one, but Heidelberg is not far away. And I mentioned at the end the podcast. I just had 2 days ago a colleague. She's now a course director for one of the international programs here. And but when she came as a student, she said, or told me on Monday, this Studienkolleg time in the study colleague and in Heidelberg was perhaps the best thing that has ever happened to her. To get to know not only to the language and perhaps, well, also get even better at some of the subjects that she studied, but as a pupil, but also to understand more of the culture and to sort of, it made an easy way in to live here. On the flip side, yes, it's additional costs, right? If you spend another year abroad as well. But she praised her time in Heidelberg very highly.
Does the school require any letter of motivation?
That is in particular for the master, for the international masters. I think we mentioned there that this would be very, very useful. Yeah, for the bachelor's, for the masters, it is 2 letters of recommendation from university professors or employers. But for the bachelor's, not so much.
So here's the requirement for English taught master. What about the German taught master? What are the requirements for that?
Oh, the language proficiency is again necessary to
Right.
show. Yeah, that is always that's always the central point really that comes up here. Other than that, it is most likely that say if you studied law and then want to do physics, that is not possible. It has to be along the same line. And that's the sort of consecutive masters that we kind of offer. But all master programs, it doesn't matter if the German-speaking ones or the English-speaking, are 2 years.
So
And for students some students have double nationality. Students outside of the European Union, those who don't have a European Union passport, it doesn't have to be a German one, can be Italian, can be French, can be, they don't have to pay. So those students in the European Union don't have to pay tuition, but all non-EU passport holder students need to pay the tuition of the 3,000 euro per year. Perhaps we should also mention that when it comes to living costs or so, that we calculate about around 800 euro per month. That would include the housing and the meals and the books. So 800. That's also about the grant. What if students get a grant from the German Academic Exchange Service, the DAAD, especially for master students, that's the case. That's about the amount that they would get. So we calculate accordingly.
first of all, is any like Formula Racing, the Formula One, Formula Racing team relative master program for international students?
Oh, no, that is not the Formula One racing is
Formula One.
outside or beyond the usual lectures. That is these students come from programs that have some connection to this, obviously, but basically they interrupt their studies and say we step aside for one term and run our own little company, the Formula One company, and join that team. And then they come back. But I must say, those students who do that, they are very often hired immediately by the companies, by the car companies, because these students show initiative, they have a good experience already, and in these areas, so they're very popular. But they normally interrupt for one term and then go on focus totally on this particular area.
Okay, so is it for students or is it for alumni or
It
like
is for students.
is it for students? It's something like
University students, yeah.
Mhm.
And
It's
that's
more
this
like
can be,
a school club or society that they can join.
I think you could call it a club, definitely. But they become their own entrepreneurs for this project.
You just introduced those English taught program. Are all those program also taught in German?
The English speaking, no. These are the ones that are in English only and especially designed for English.
Right.
So not all of them. Physics, yes, you would also have physics. You would also have material science in German language, but integrated urbanism and sustainable design, no. You would study architecture when it comes to that. Electrical engineering in German as well. Computer science in German language as well. But something like waste and wastewater, no, that is specially in English. You would find elements of this in related study programs, but here it is highlighted for the English speaking programs.
Yeah. For the rest of like German taught program, student can find them on a website. Like they can just search. There'll be a program taught in English and program taught in German, which
Yeah.
they can find whether it's relative to their background or their past experience or not.
Absolutely. And it can also be that in the students who are enrolled in the German speaking program, take 1 or 2 or 3 courses from the English speaking program to broaden their international education or to follow the latest in English language as well, and to meet more international students in their subject area as well. So that combination is possible, but primarily we would like to attract international students with these English-speaking programs. Some German students as well, and some apply. And I know, for instance, from Infotech, that is our master program in computer science and electronics and information, that they, although they teach in English, they would like to attract more students who are from Germany, but study in English language.
All right. Does any program, or like master program, require, say, a professional or industry working experience?
To apply, you mean, for the
Yeah,
prior to for the
apply.
application? It doesn't. No, it does not. But it's some students have that. Some, if they apply, because they would do at home their bachelor's degree and then step and get some work experience first, and then take up studies. So it doesn't hurt to bring that along, especially as I said, with the recommendation letters from university or employers. But it doesn't have to be that way. I know that in infrastructure planning, so where you have some complex infrastructure facilities, then there often students have worked in related areas already, so that they have some practical take on and yes, have the bachelor, the theory, but also some practical take and work experience. But it is not a requirement.
Sure. But you can pick, just make it a plus point when you are applying.
Yeah.
For the university programs. Speaking of the application, for example, some people may apply through the websites. Also in Germany, many schools join Uni Assist. Is it applicable with University of Stuttgart as well, Uni Assist?
Not so much, no. Students should directly apply to the admissions office that I mentioned earlier. So admissions office at uni-stuttgart DE.
The next questions is with regards to the program content, like the program syllabus. In the program of mechanics, master programs, is there any like aeronautic engineering research involved?
You can,
Or are they separate?
you can study, you mean aerospace studies? Yeah, that we have as a separate subject, as a program that the student can actually study that. So that's possible, and enroll in particular for that program in the master's aerospace engineering, but also in the bachelor's program.
Right.
That, however, it is in German language only.
Since I believe, like there are a lot of aspects of there are different aspects of engineering. So if a student is not sure whether his or her background is suitable or suitable for application, can they just connect to or just reach the admission office? For example, they are from a electrical engineering background, but they would like to apply for computer science. Is it possible or not?
I would recommend all of the English-speaking master programs do have course directors that are especially the special contact persons for anybody who has an interest in that. So if you say somebody wants to do information technology and has the background, as you said, in electrical engineering, in that case, I would recommend write to the course director, go, the website is easy to find, Information Technology, University of Stuttgart, and then check course director and exactly put that question up.
Is it like double degree program at University of Stuttgart,
We
or
do
can
have
they do like double major?
yes, we have that. They will then have to study for 2 semesters and an additional 2 at the partner university.
Right.
And that can be done. Yeah, there are some courses, some programs offer that, but once again, not all.
For example, well, let's put it another way. If they are master in electrical engineering, can they take courses in, say, computer science?
Yeah, that to me seems to be related. So they can certainly use that as a focus area,
Right.
and especially specialization then to combine it, and that can be done. I think that can be done.
I think that's everything we have for today's QA parts. I will provide the email to our audience, the
Please do.
admission office email, so that they can reach them. Just make sure you have to mention your background to them. What your status? Are you in a sophomore? Are you a junior or senior grade of your university or your high school students? To the admission office, so they can know what will be the suggestions for you. They will just let you know the information you need to prepare for your application. All right, thank you, Wolfgang. To again, I think we met
We
early
met.
this year,
We
early
definitely did.
this
Yeah.
year, and
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, thank you so much again. It's a pleasure. And I hope we can be back.
Sure,
I
in
hope we
person.
can be back, in person, and then really meet next fall, next October.
All right, of course. So we hope to see you very soon, next October in person in Taipei.
I hope so too. And again, thanks everybody who took part in and had an interest in our university today. Once again, my email address is international@uni-stuttgart.de. And have a very good remaining evening.
Yes, you too. Have a good day. See you
Bye
next.
bye. Auf Wiedersehen.
Danke.